YouTube, what's good? It's your boy Hold It Down Jay, and thank y'all for tuning in for another episode. Before we even begin, if you're new to the channel, I'm gonna need y'all to like, share, subscribe, and comment after the video, of course. In this video, we're gonna discuss exactly how to get inside incident response, whether you want to be an incident response analyst or an incident response security engineer. These are some critical attributes I recommend you learning before you get inside the whole cybersecurity incident response space. Well, after this theme song, I'm gonna give you all the steps that you need. Well, mainly tools you'll need that will help you become successful throughout your career. Until then, listen to the theme song. We'll be back. All right, welcome back, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. We're going to go through a series of 7 different skill sets that will help you become a successful incident response specialist, analyst, engineer. The first one we're going to talk about is threat detection and analysis. The reason why this is important is because it's mainly the bread and butter of a cybersecurity analyst. And you want to learn certain things like using a SIM, a EDR, or IDS, IPS. For those who don't know, a SIM is a security information event manager. And also what that does is it takes all the applications that a company has, whether let's say it's firewalls, different applications they use, they aggregate all of them together into one platform. And what the SIM does is that it allows you to view all the logs and as far as like the events of what every application is doing. This helps you determine different attacks, whether or not people are doing insider threat type activities, like a coworker possibly doing malicious things, exfiltrating data, all that good stuff. Then you got your IDS, which is an intrusion detection system. You have an incident prevention system. The two differences between an IDS and an IPS is that an incident detection system literally does what it says. It detects something as suspicious within the activity. But the thing is that IDS is very passive, meaning that if it sees an attack or something suspicious, it'll tell you, but it won't do anything. But an incident prevention system will tell you, will actually do something and tell you. You also have something called an EDR, which stands for Endpoint Detection and Response. Popular ones that I'm currently using is Microsoft Defender, and also for 365, and also CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike is one of the popular ones. The thing with endpoints is that they tell you specifically, I mainly use it for actual keeping track of devices. For example, if you have a large facility and people in different organizations are using different devices, one may be using laptops, the other one may be using mobile devices. This helps you track all the different events that's inside. And also, I like to use CrowdStrike because I can literally look at any device I want and determine what activities that a user has done, or even if it's anything suspicious. Let's say, for example, an attacker has compromised one of my devices. I can literally track all that information and see what he done, and this will help with the process of possibly mitigating or stopping more of an attack becoming more harmful than what it already has. The reason why analysis is important, because we already had threat detection. Threat detection, you notice something is suspicious, okay, you take action. But analysis is important is because, okay, you notice something suspicious. The question is, how are you going to handle this situation? What are you going to do to actually go into more detail and realize that something is suspicious? Where is the attack coming from? Is it malicious? Is this somebody at work that's doing this? The second step is incident triaging and prioritizing. This is important because when you get into this part of triaging, you have to prioritize different alerts based off the impact, the scope, and also the priority of the actual alert. Let me give you a full scope. As an incident response specialist or analyst, what you must realize is that you'll have many different alerts. There's not going to be a time as an incident response specialist where it's just one platform you use where you're going to get alerts. There's multiple tools you're going to have. Some people have SIMs, some people have SOARs, EDRs. Alerts come from many different things. Every company is different. You have to understand that as you as an incident response specialist, you have to ask yourself, do I handle this alert inside Splunk, or do I handle this alert in CrowdStrike or whatever tool you're using? And you do that based off of the priority. If this attack is real, how detrimental can it be towards the company? Let's say you're just triaging emails based off of just emails alone. You have one where there's a low level ranking member, and you have another one that's more of a supervisor level, and you have to investigate each email. The thing you have to ask yourself is, yes, did this email just come in? Yes, but is he, if he, what's the impact? Will it hurt more if the supervisor account gets hacked, or will it hurt more if a lower level person gets hacked? Yes, they both will do damage, but you have to think supervisors have more admin type access typically. You want to make sure that that gets taken care of, because an attacker can do a lot of damage if you don't take care of that right away. All right, skill set number 3. You want to definitely learn forensic analysis. The reason why forensic analysis is important is because you want to exactly learn what was the root cause of this actual incident that you're investigating. You can use different tools like Wireshark. Wireshark is a really big one, and it's also free as well that you can use. Wireshark, in other terms, it allows you to investigate different packets throughout a network. For those who don't know how packets work, if you're on an unsecured network, HTTP, which is port 80, and you log inside of a website that's not encrypted traffic, guess what? I can use Wireshark to monitor your traffic, and I can see exactly your username and your password that you typed in for the exact login website. And you can use that because you can use Wireshark to possibly even determine the way an attacker is actually moving. You can possibly get his packets if you're elite like that. All right, skill set number 4 is communication. The reason why communication is important is because you have to understand, as an incident response specialist, some things, just because you're technical doesn't mean the other world is. Let's use an example. Let's say you're a incident response specialist and you work at Kroger, which is a supermarket, and an accountant has a brute force attack that's happening on their actual account. You get the alert, you reach out to that person, and let's say the person name is Shirley, for example. And you reach out to Shirley and you say, hey Shirley, we recently got a brute force attack on your account. Can you confirm activity? Well, to the average person who's not inside cybersecurity, they're not going to know exactly what a brute force attack is. Brute force attack, who don't know, is when an attacker uses multiple password attempts to try to gain unauthorized access to an account. Now we got that cleared up. You reach out to Shirley, tell her you got a brute force. She's thinking in her head like, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. And that's where the communication aspect comes into play. Because let me tell you how I would approach this situation. And typically people, and you say, hey Shirley, I'm such and such from the cybersecurity department, and we recently see that you possibly tried to log in 55 times at 2:30 in New York. Can you kindly confirm or validate this activity? Now, what that does is you told her that she literally had a brute force attack, but you said it in layman's terms where she can understand it. Now it makes it a lot more realistic and understandable. She can either tell you, yes, that was me. Oh, I'm sorry, I had my caps locked on and I didn't realize it until the 56th try. And okay, cool, you close the alert out. Skill set number 5 is threat hunting. Proactively threat hunting is important because if you are good at threat hunting, the benefit of doing it is that you can literally stop something from happening before it does happen. For example, you used your tools to an advantage. I can use something like Splunk or CrowdStrike. I can investigate all the logs that I have and possibly find something that looks very suspicious. The benefit of threat hunting is that you could possibly find something that the machines that you have didn't pick up on. And once you find that, you can possibly save a company millions, maybe even billions of dollars. Because let's say there was no threat hunters in the world, there'd be a lot of malicious files, privilege of escalation, meaning that a user that has a low level amount of access keeps moving up the hierarchy to get more access. And if the machine, if your SIMs or anything doesn't detect that, you can possibly detect that. And also, it makes you a little bit more valuable to your company. Number 6, the king of all kings is networking. I don't give a damn if you don't want to learn it or not. I promise you, in my opinion, networking is awfully boring, in my opinion. But that doesn't mean that I don't understand how it works. I'm not saying I'm out here configuring routers and stuff. I can't tell you a Cisco command line command off the top of my head because I don't know it. But what I can tell you is that as a incident response specialist, I can tell you how different devices communicate with each other. I can tell you I'll be able to investigate where an attacker started out from and how he ended up gaining unauthorized access. That's the way you have to think as an incident response specialist. You have to ask yourself, what is the origin of this incident and why is the cause of it? And then how do we get from here and how do we get from there? And you always want to know, even with Wireshark, if you don't understand networking, how are you going to use something like Wireshark? Because everything is built off of networking. Networking is like the foundation, the godfather, the Don Dada of cybersecurity. And a lot of people, they always talk about these different attacks and everything, but I don't think that a lot of people tell you guys that how important networking is. You really need to know it. Out of anything, scratch all the skills I just told you. Learn networking first. And a lot of people, they start off with CCNA and all that, but I'm not saying get a certification. That's up to you. But I at least want you to become a master in networking. The final skill set I want you guys to have is fairly simple. Continuously learn. Yes, you have to, in threat intelligence as well, you have to continuously learn because as you're possibly evolving, attackers are evolving as well. You can't just keep doing the same thing over and over and expect attackers not to try something different, because each and every day they're determining and finding different ways to become more clever. So you have to beat them at that. And you do this by reading different blog articles or reading the news. I like to read the hacker news. I like to watch the news sometimes about modern day technology. That's how you become fresh and very updated when it comes to these attacks. And you want to make sure that you're learning as far as whether you're getting a new certification or you're building upon what you learn on, because that's only going to make you better. Because regardless of the first job that you ever land in your life as far as tech, I don't ever expect you to stay there. I expect you to evolve. You could probably stay within the company if they promote and stuff, but I at least want you to understand what you're getting yourself into so you can become more valuable and get different positions, and that's how you become more evolved within your cybersecurity career. But this wraps this up. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and like I said, like, share, subscribe, comment, tell me some things you would like to see. Please, feedback is much appreciated. Thank y'all. I'm gonna holler at y'all.